Okay, so I'll start with the course content. So what we have and what are we planning for the rest of the sessions, what we are going to have. So today it would be a demo session. So basically I'll explain what is Fusion application and how Oracle, developed this Fusion application and what are the stages it took. And then what is the difference between R12 and Fusion in terms of financial applications. And then I'll speak about the enterprise structure, how it is different from R12 and the Fusion application. And then we will see what is implementation project and what is role-based access control. And then if time permits, maybe I'll take you through a system and I'll create an sample implementation project and we will see how this works and all those things. So this is what we are going to see at high level for the today's session. Okay.
Okay.
So basically, we will start with our introduction where we will speak about the Fusion application and we will see the difference between R-tool and Fusion and the role-based access control. And then we will speak about the rapid implementation and we will speak about the reference data set and we will see the enterprise structure and the project and the roles. Okay. So this is
Okay.
what we plan for today's session.
Okay.
And from the next class, what we will do is we will start by modules. So we will see like how we create calendar. So basically, if you see in R12, so if you wanted to create a calendar, basically you will define a calendar and you will have to use this data loader to load the calendar. But here in Fusion application, it is all simplified basically, so that we will see once we get into the application and the enabling currency and how to create a value set and we will see what is chart of account and what is chart of account at instance and then we will see the legal entity and we will see how creation of the primary ledger is different from the R12 and we will try to identify or we will try to assign this legal entity and we will assign the BSP to this. And also, while we are looking at the primary ledger definition, we will see what is space database. So I'll just give a heads up. So when we are seeing in the application, we will see it in live. So what is space database? So basically, space database is a database where the data will be stored in a cubicle value, so that it will help in terms of reporting. So this was procured from Hyperion. So Hyperion had an reporting tool called the Space database. So whatever the data which we are transferring to general ledger module, it will be copied and it will be stored in Space database. So that whenever we wanted to take a report out of it in the financial studio, so we can derive the report based on the cubicle values. Whichever way we want, we can derive it. So when we are looking at the financial reporting studio, we will understand in depth. But for now, I'm just giving heads up that this is how it will work. So when we complete a particular ledger, system will create a cubicle value against this ledger. Okay. So when we are creating a transaction on a given ledger, system will create a cubicle value so that it will be easier to derive the report out of it. Okay, we will see all those things and also we will see like what is data access set to the user and how do we open periods in Fusion. And we will see how to load the COA values using the spreadsheet. Again, the loading the COA values in R12, we have to use the data loader, but here it is simplified where we will just load using the spreadsheet. We will just copy paste the values from the Excel and we will load it. The system will take care of all the validations. So here while loading the chart of account values, we have something called UCM. So what is UCM? UCM is nothing but Universal Content Manager. So basically what this does is that it has a middle layer that when we are loading the maybe let's take a case of loading the supplier data. So if we are loading the data, basically we will have a staging table and from the staging table we will move to interface and from interface we will get to the base table. So this process has been avoided in Fusion application through this UCM. So what UCM does is that when we are loading this Excel sheet, it will basically process and it will get the file into interface table. So where we will run a concurrent program to import the process. So this is much simplified than the R12 version. So that we will see in live when we are taking into the system. Okay. And apart from that, we have the journals can be loaded through spreadsheet. So this again, we have it even in R12. So through WebAD, we can do it. So I'll show it here as well. And then we have revaluation and translation. This is again similar to R2. And then we will try to close the period and see and all those things. And we have this account inspector, and then we will understand the financial reporting studio. So I'll not get you more into technical details, but I'll show you the part how it will work. And because if you see in R12 we have FSG, so FSG is used to define our financial reports, but whereas in Fusion application, if you see, we don't have FSG. So instead, we have this financial reporting studio where we will define the report based on our values which are stored in SPSS database. Okay. So this is for general ledger. And then we will see accounts payable. So where we have a business unit. So basically, what is business unit? Business unit is nothing but a term change from R12 to Fusion application. That is, we have operating unit in R12. We have it in as a term change to business unit. Okay. Then we have a reference data set. So what is reference data set? So this is actually used to group a particular setup and to enable to use only for a particular business unit or the operating unit. So for that purpose, we have a concept of reference data set. So again, this is new in Fusion application. So then we will see how to create a business unit and what are all the business functions that we can assign. And then we will see what is legislative data group and how to assign to the legal entity and why do we assign it and all those things we will see. And then we have employee user. So employee user is nothing but, okay, so let me explain what is user first. So what is an user in Fusion application? So basically we have two kind of user. So one is implementation user and the other is employee user. So who is implementation user and who is employee user? So employee user will be able to do only transaction. He will not be do any sort of setup, or he will not be able to do any sort of setup whichever relevant to the transaction which he is doing apart from the supplier side creation. So only this will be done by the employee user. So what will be done by implementation user? So basically implementation user is the one who implements the application. So when we are creating the implementation project, we will create the implementation user. So this particular user will have access only to do the setup. So in Fusion, it has been splitted out, or it has been segregated between the setup part and the transaction part. So the one who does the transaction is employee user, and the one who does the setup is implementation user. Okay. So here we have roles to user. So if you speak about R12, so basically you have the menus, submenus, and the things menus attached to the responsibility. And based on that, we have the profile options that we will attach. Based on that, we will assign a particular form, that is either invoice or payment or maybe the journal entry form. So here in Fusion application, this is entirely different. So how this will work is that we have the roles. So roles is nothing but this is nothing but a privilege that a person or a user can do. So based on this role, we will see like how an user will access the particular form or the front end application. Okay. So then we will see the procurement agent. So who is a procurement agent and what he can do? So why do we need a procurement agent and all those things we will see. And the others are like common configuration, that is our financial options that has been renamed as common options for procurement and payables. Okay. And then we have invoice options, payment options. Other setups are similar to R2. Okay, the payment method, payment format, and all those things. So we will see. And the transaction wise, what we will see is that we will see the standard invoice, that is manual invoice, and then we will see the debit memo, credit memo, and then we will try to create an invoice matching with PO, and then we will see the PPR and the payment workbench. Okay, so this is on the AP part. And then we will see on receivable. So receivable, I mean, almost similar to what we have it in R2. So I'm not wasting time in explaining this receivable things where we will set up the system options and transaction type and all those things. So this is similar to our R2. So I'm not taking much time on this part. So anyway, I'll send this copy to you after this session. So maybe you can have a look at it. And then we have cash management. Even cash management, it is almost similar. So basically, we will see how the reconciliation and the bank statement and all those things works, and we will see how this external cash transactions works and all those things. And fixed asset, maybe we will see. We will try to create a value set, and we will create structure, and we will create structure at instance. And then we will see the system controls and fiscal calendar. So how is it different from R tool and all those things we will see. And we will try to create a few transactions in fixed asset as well. So we will see like how we will add assets and how is it coming from AP module to here. And we will see merge asset, split asset, and the reclassification. Then we will see the depreciation and retirement and reinstatement, and we will try to close the asset period. So this is the plan for the overall session. So what we have as a plan. So maybe I'll share this on after this session. So for now, I would like to take you through. Maybe I'll share the screen. Okay. So basically, what is Fusion application? So Fusion application comprise of six application basically. So Oracle had an EBS financial. So on top of it, Oracle has added another five application which Oracle has procured recently. Okay. So JD Edward has been procured by Oracle for the purpose of procurement. So procurement and all those things entirely taken from the JD Edwards. And then we have PeopleSoft, and PeopleSoft is used for the HCM. Basically, Oracle has enhanced with the already available what you call the human resource management. With that, it has added few things for the purpose of enhancement. And then we have Sybil. Sybil is for CRM. And then Oracle has procured Hyperion. So Hyperion is what I was speaking about, the financial reporting studio and the space database and all those things. So Hyperion will help us in terms of budgeting, and it will help in terms of better reporting for the financial what do you call the financial reports. So we have a space database. So a space database, we have seen that this is nothing but a database where the values often general ledger or the accounting data are stored in this particular database to get the values in a cubical representation. Okay. And apart from that, we have the budgeting part. So the budgeting part is east. And the budgeting part, what we are going to see is only the EBS part of it or the fusion part of it. And apart from that, we have especially for the cloud services, we have it. So that is bit advanced version. So I'll just explain, or I'll just give the theoretical point view of this Hyperion budgeting, but I'll not go in depth with this Hyperion part. Okay. And then Primera is used for projects. Okay, so this is what Fusion application is all about. So this is how Oracle has come up with various developments and procurements, and they come up with the Fusion application. And then we have cloud platform. So if you take R12, this is entirely on premise. So recently maybe we can have or we can host our database in maybe the cloud platform, but still this is an on premise. Okay. So if you take Fusion application, this is entirely on a cloud platform. So entirely on a cloud platform in the sense, so we have different ways of having or maintaining our system in the cloud. So which at high level we can say we have software as a service, we have platform as a service, we have infrastructure as a service. So what is the difference between each one of them? So how do we identify this is an SaaS model or this is an PaaS model? So we can use a key difference between each. So how do we manage our infrastructure? So this defines our cloud platform. So if you see this SaaS, that is software as a service, where we don't have anything control out of it. So when we say we don't have any control out of it, which means Oracle is maintaining everything for us. If you see the database or the application or the middleware and the server storage network, everything will be handled by Oracle. So what is the advantage of having this SaaS model? So let's say there is an bug that is being reported. Okay. So this bug needs to be reported, and when a particular customer comes with this defect, and Oracle will give a fix for it, and again the customer too will have to raise a service request, and it will be fixed. But if you speak about the cloud platform where we don't have such things, so when this is done, so basically we will have the regular what do you call the refreshment and all those things. So when this is happening, the fixes and everything will be applied. So we have an advantage of using the SaaS model. So out of this three cloud maintenance things, so the suggested one by Oracle is SaaS model. So that is software as a service. But the disadvantage in having this is that the customization part, what we are having in R12 will be very minimal. So that is the only disadvantage that we are looking at SaaS model. Then we have the PaaS model, that is platform as a service. So what is platform as a service? So basically, how do we maintain this? So the application part and the data will be in our hand. So if we wanted to have any sort of customization or this thing, we can do. But still the server storage and all those things will be maintained by Oracle. Similarly, we have infrastructure as a service where the even the middleware and everything will be handled by the client, but only the server and the networking will be handled by Oracle. So this is the key difference between each one of the platform. Then we have Fusion architecture. So basically, how did Fusion come up with this architecture is that if you see here, you will see the Fusion application. So what is Fusion application? Fusion application is made up of the financial, procurement, supply chain, project accounting, and all those things. So in EBS, we call this as in modules, but here in Fusion, they call offerings and the options. I mean, this is what I mean, this is kind of a term change. We don't have much difference. The only part is if you say module in R12, this is accounts payable general ledger. But if you see here, one offering which was given by Oracle is financial. So this financial covers the entire part. Okay. So similarly, we have the procurement. So procurement is nothing but purchasing in R12. Okay. And then we have a middleware. So when I was speaking about the UCM, so where it will act a kind of an third party, and it will allow us to reduce the technical effort and enhance us to do the implementation at an easy way. Okay. So that is the role of UCM. And then we have BPM. So what is BPM? So we have AME in R12. So where the workflows and all those things will be configured using AME. So similarly, we have BPM, Business Process Management. Okay. So this BPM, it is kind of a technical part. Right? So I'll just give an the theoretical part of it. So this is basically an workflow part of it where we will configure the system and we will try to set up the workflow, either it is for the purchasing or the invoice, or if you want to have the customized workflow that we can do it using the VPN. And similarly, we have Beeple and Sova, which is like an middleware product where it will try to connect different applications. Okay, then we have the database. So this we have seen. So one is Fusion DB. So Fusion DB basically stores all those transactions coming from the both the subledger and the general ledger. But whereas in Space, if you see, it is only an accounting data. No other subledger data will be taken to Space database. So I just given the difference. Okay, so what is enterprise structure? So how does this different from MOIC that we have it in R12? So here if you take, I have taken Honeywell as an use case. Okay. So if you see on the entire structure list, we have the legal entity, we have the primary ledger, and we have inventory org, and we have the business units already defined in R12 as well. So how is this different from R12? So we have the enterprise structure. If you see the R12 structure, we have business group on top of it, where I can create multiple business groups for the different countries. But if you take in the Fusion application, I cannot create multiple enterprises. So the enterprise is always one. So when the company or the client wants to have different offices to be configured, so how do we use it? So this is where the legislative data group will come in. So we have the legislative data group and we have the legal entity. So legal entity is configured for the particular country. So it is always a legal registration. That is what we say legal entity. So we will attach this legislative data group and with the legal entity, and we will attach with the enterprise structure. So I mean enterprise as a whole. So that we will have the operating things happening between different countries, and we can take the consolidated financial reports as per the requirement. Okay, so this is one part. And we have the division. So division is again new in Fusion application. So division can be used in multiple ways. So the last project what we have worked is the division we have taken it as a line of business. And I have seen a few use cases as well using division only as an line of business. But this is not limited only to the line of business. It depends on the requirement that how do we manage this. Okay. So for this example, I have taken here as well as an line of business. So that is one for electronics and one for fire equipment. And then we have the primary ledger. So again, below this we have similar concept. So that is similar to R12. So I didn't mention the secondary ledger, reporting ledger, and all those things. So I have just mentioned only the primary ledger. And then under primary ledger, we have the legal entity. And under the legal entity, we will have the business unit defined for it. And then we have the distribution center. So distribution center, this is just an reporting purpose. So this is kind of an unit where the items are being dispatched or it is being recorded in terms of reporting. And below that we have inventory organization. So more than the financial part, if you see on maybe the supply chain part, we will have a little variation or enhanced version of it. Okay. So basically we have the inventory organization and we have the item master organization. So if you see R12, we will have the item organization and we will have inventory organization attached to it. But here we can have a global inventory master, I mean item master, and we can have this item master attached with the inventory organization. Okay. The reason being is that the item master is only an uh, virtual item master or the virtual inventory organization. But whereas we don't have any physical reference for this particular item master organization. So that is the reason we have this as a global. So this is an optional. If we wanted to have for each inventory organization one item master, we can have it. but we have this privilege of having this as a global. So this is what all about the enterprise structure. Okay. And then we have fusion roles and users. So before going into fusion roles and user, basically we will have to create an implementation project. So if you see in R12, so basically we will have what we call the fresh instance to be created, and we will prepare an Excel sheet where the project manager will create a plan. So where do we start and all those things, and where are we and the progress and everything. But in Fusion application, since we have this dashboard and everything created or designed already by the Oracle, whatever the implementation what we are creating, we will have a dashboard against it. If the project manager or the head of this particular project wanted to view it, the progress of it, so we can view. And also, since we are assigning each module or the each functionality to a particular resource, manager can view the particular resource activity and also the resource, what do you call, the percentage of completion and all those things. So that is the reason we have this implementation project. So to start with the configuration, basically we need to have this implementation project created, and then after this we will create the implementation user. So who is implementation user? So implementation user is the one basically who creates or who does the setup. So here it is being divided into two parts, as I said. So one is setup and the other is transaction. So the setup part will be handled by implementation user. So how does system understands this is an implementation user and this is an employee user? So this is always based on the roles and responsibilities, as only the roles. Okay. So we have two roles here. So if you see here, we have one is application implementation consultant and the other is IT security manager. So what does this IT security manager does and what does this application implementation consultant role do? So IT security manager is something like an our system administrator, where he will give access to the particular user. So what kind of menus user will be accessing and what he can see, what he cannot see. All those things will be controlled by system admin in R4. Similarly, here in Fusion application, we have something called IT security manager. So IT security manager will allow us to make any sort of custom role or assigning the role to the user. And apart from that, we have application implementation consultant. So this is the role which is used to do the setup. Unless we assign this particular role, we will not be able to make any sort of configuration in the system. And then we have employee user. So employee user is the one who will be assigned with the maybe the business unit or the ledger, whatever he is working on, maybe the GL part or the AP part. Accordingly, he will be allowed or he will be assigned with the particular roles and the access to the business units. Okay. And then we have the role-based access control. So role-based access control is something like our, what do you call it? If you have seen in our HRMS module in R12, so based on the roles, we will set up the approval limit. So the similar concept we can have, but not exactly. So I'll explain how it is. So we have four different roles here. So based on this, we will define at what level we can access this particular function. So if you see here, we have job role. So this job role is something like our maybe I can say the supervisor. If you say invoice supervisor, you will have the invoice entry, you will have invoice inquiry, sort of different functions to perform. So this collection of what do you call the collection of functions you call job role, and the specific individual role you call duty role. So that is invoice entry. Maybe I don't want inquiry option to be given to this particular user. Then we say this is a duty role. And then we have data role. Data role is something that assigning or giving the privilege to the user to access certain business unit or the ledger set or the data set, whatever we want to call. So this access we call data role. And if we are creating or customizing the role for only for the particular employee, so this we call as an abstract role. So these are the four classification of the roles that we have at an Fusion application. And can we customize these roles? So definitely we can customize the roles, because whatever the roles that was given by Oracle is applies to all. So whatever the business unit it has been created, I can access all the business unit. But whereas in real time scenario, it is not that all the users will have access to everything. So it should be restricted. So that is why we have customization role. Okay. And then we have offerings and features. So what is offering and what is features? So basically offering is something that are what do you call the grouping, the collection of things what we can do is offerings. So this offering is pertaining to the setup part. This is not on the transaction level. So this is only on the setup part. So unless we complete the setup, we will not be able to do the transaction. That is understandable. But the initial part is this offerings and features. So what are the offerings that we wanted to choose and what are the features that we wanted to choose? So while enabling this, we should be cautious in terms of selecting the business functions. So always we can add the offering or we can add the task to the created project, but still some of the offerings it will not affect in terms of addition. So this is the difference between the offerings and the feature. That is, offering is something as a global that is on the financial or procurement, whereas feature is something individual functionality, that is invoice or the payment or the invoice entry, payment entry or the PPR. So similar to this. Okay. So what are the minimum steps that we will need to create an implementation project or to start with the configuration? So we have implementation user that needs to be created first. Then we need to create an project. Then we will have to assign the project to the implementation user what we have created in the first step. And then we will have to assign the roles to the user. That is what we saw in the previous slide. That is two roles to be assigned to the user, that is IT security manager and application implementation consultant. After doing this, we will have to assign the offerings and features for the project so that we can start our the setups. So these are the steps that we will have to follow. Okay. So we have done this. So maybe if you have some questions we can take, or else we can jump into application and we can see like what are the steps in creating implementation project.
Uh, Hi Arun, I'm Sajish here. I have few questions. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure.
So you spoke about S-based database, right? That is used for budgeting and planning.
Yes.
So is it something like a replacement of a Hyperion or an EPM in this fusion?
It is not a replacement. Actually, it is an addition to this database what we have it. So basically, SPS database is used mostly for this financial reporting studio, where we can take the cubicle values out of it for our financial reporting part.
Okay. So it is not a replacement of those products by Oracle.
Yeah, it is not replacement. Basically, it is an addition for us.
Okay. And okay, fine. I got the answer. The other question is like we have something called as OCI, Oracle Cloud Integrator. So are we
Yeah.
not using that in middleware or
Yeah, that also we have. If you speak about middleware, actually we have a huge list basically. So that's why I just
okay.
listed four of it.
Okay, fine, fine. I just wanted to know whether that can be
Yeah,
taken over. Okay,
yeah, we have it.
okay. And so one more question, final question which I have is like,
Yeah,
what database they are using in Fusion? Is it the same Oracle DB only as a Fusion DB or something else?
yeah, same DB, 12C.
Same 12C. Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. Any
Okay,
other?
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, any
From
other
my end.
question? No.
Hi, Arun.
Yeah,
This is
hi.
Durai here.
Yeah,
Actually, Hyperion is used for reporting, budgeting, financial reports. That like, or
yeah.
it will be used for some other.
No, no.
Hyperion.
Hyperion is basically used with budgeting and the financial reporting part of it.
Okay, okay, okay. That's fine.
Okay, fine. Okay, so
Arun, sorry, one more question. Sorry,
yes, please,
final
please.
question. Sorry, I just remembered that. So you were saying that we cannot have multiple enterprises, right?
Yeah,
So in a scenario, if my business is like one in a real estate, another one in a retail sector,
yeah.
whereas two are registered under two different owners, maybe they will have a partnership. In that scenario, how I should register? Do I need to create a division and register, or it is better to create two instances with an enterprise?
No, we don't need two instances. We can create with division.
We can
So
create
if
with
you say
division.
about the partnership and all those things, we have a separate module in cloud. I'm not sure whether we have it in R12. So we have something called Oracle Cloud Joint Venture. So that is the new thing that we are also exploring for one of the project that is coming up in Middle East. So that we have it. So apart from that, to answer your question, we don't need to have what do you call the separate instance for this. We can utilize
Okay.
this division, which is line of business, because the enterprise as a company it is one, but we
Okay.
have the different businesses inside it. So we can use this division and we can make use of what do you call the extending our structure.
Okay. 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 Fine. And I couldn't see this subledger accounting also. So that is there, or that concept is completely removed in Fusion.
No,
Slash.
we have subledger
Okay.
accounting. So that is
Okay.
what when I was explaining this SEM part of it, I mean not the depth level. So basically, when you look at the SEM part of it, we have few differences in terms of getting the inventory valuation account or this values. So basically, we
Okay.
have something called tab. So mostly this will be configured by the financial consultant. So when
Okay.
we see this what you call the payable module, we will see what is tab and all those things. And apart
Okay.
from that, since I mean this is a new concept, this is similar to our what do you call the subledger accounting. This is being extended to the supply chain modules as well. And
Okay.
to answer your question, yes, still we have subledger accounting, and still we have this accounting hub, and still we can customize this SLA.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Arun, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So any other question, or can we move? Okay. So let's move to the application. Let me share my screen. Okay. So if you see, this is the dashboard that we can see in Fusion application. Okay. So if you see here, we don't see any specific two modules apart from the general accounting and the receivables and this thing. So this has been well because I have given the roles only for these three modules. So that is why I'm seeing these options. So apart from that, what we will see is that the me is nothing but about myself. It will say that is about mostly if I want to apply maybe the expense entry that I can do it from here. And if I want to see my personal information and all those things, I can see. So this is the landing page that we have it in Fusion application. And then the other part of it is that if you see here on the left corner, we can see, I mean, in tool section, we will see something called security console. So basically, what is security console? So security console is the work area which will allow us to what do you call the customize the roles or give access to the users to access the particular functions or the functionalities. Okay. So I'll just show what is role and all those things. So for example, I'm just querying accounts payable specialist. Okay, let me take accounts payable manager. If you see here, there are a lot of custom roles that is being created, and apart from that, there are most of the standard roles that was given by Oracle. So if you see this accounts payable manager, this is again a standard role that was given by Oracle. So when it is given by Oracle, it applies to all, which is this is like a common role where Oracle doesn't restrict with the particular business unit or ledger. So that is the reason we are trying to what you call customize this role and attach to the particular user. So we will see how to customize roles and all those things when we are looking at our payable configurations and testing the functionalities. So for now, this is how we will see the roles. So here we can see that we have a job role, duty role, abstract role, and we have privileges and all those things. So this we saw while we are saying at high level picture what is Fusion application. Okay. So maybe if we want to query based on maybe job role, we can give it here. So this is all about the role. And then we have users. Okay. So let me query my user or let me try to create one user. Okay. So let me give the name as Arun and let me give some mail ID. So let me give a password for it. Okay, so I have created this. So I have to attach some role to this particular user in order to access the setup. So the two mandatory roles that I have to attach is application implementation consultant. So I have added this role and let me add IT security manager as well. So we are able to access the security console since we have the access to IT security manager. Unless we have this access, we will not be able to give privilege to the users. Okay. Now we have created this user. So if you see here, we will have a notification coming in for us. But whereas this kind of functionalities, we don't have it in Oracle. So apart from our HRMS, leave request and all those things. Again, we have the mail notification and these things will be configured through our workflow. But here, if you see, you will have the pages that will give us the notification, the action, immediate action item and all those things. So let me directly log out and log in with our user. So the reason why we are giving the mail ID when we are creating this user or the new user or the implementation user is that if we wanted to reset our password, so we can just directly click forget password and give our mail ID there so that the password will be received to our mail. So this is also I think new to Fusion. So this is the one which we have. So if you see here, we will not see any of the modules to do any kind of transaction. The reason is the role we have given is application implementation consultant. So with the application implementation consultant, we will not be able to do any sort of transaction. So only thing we can do is the setup part. If you see here, this is setup and maintenance. So this is where basically we will do all sort of configurations. Okay. So this is the landing page. So after creating the implementation project, so if we wanted to have what do you call this is kind of an after creating the implementation project, basically we will assign a resource for it. So if we have assigned a particular functionality to the resource, from here we can access this. So this is kind of a shortcut for us. So I will click financials, and I can take any of the functionalities assigned to me, and I can do the relevant setup for this. So this will list down the mandatory setups that I need to do in the system. So if you see here, the system will tell me or ask me to do the setup for the payment terms, procurement agent, and the common configuration, invoice options, and payment options. Okay. Similarly, we have for the others as well. So this is kind of an shortcut area for us to do the configurations. So how do we create an implementation project? So let's right click, I mean, from this taskbar, let's do this and click manage implementation project. From here, we click add. So here we give our project name. So I'm just giving implementation. It has changed, and let's give a start date. So let's say it is starting on 1st of August. So we should click next. We can also click save and open the project. If we click save and open the project, we will not have any offering inside it. We will have to add it manually. So I'm just adding from here. So I'm clicking this. This is my offering. And if you see, these are all my features. I'm just clicking my features as well. So under features, again I will have options. So options is nothing but the sub-classification of features. So let me choose all the setups to be configured. Okay, so this is just for understanding. So I'm just clicking save and open project. Okay, so we have our project, that is AK implementation, and you can see here this is in progress. And here we can see this is assigned to Arun, because while creating the project, we have given this username, and then we can extend this box. If we extend this, we will have the sub configuration that we have opted for. So as I was saying that we have the invoice, and we have the payments or the AP module, and the fixed asset module, receivable module, all are clubbed into one offering. So that is financials. So under that we have different features. So if I click this, so this fixed asset I call features. So under fixed asset I have other few. This I call options. Okay. So now I have configuration. So if I want to assign this, maybe invoicing and payment will be configured by resource A and expense configuration by resource B. So I will go here and click assign task. So from here I can add user. So let's try to add on user. So maybe I will give chm.ch. I click apply. Okay. So now we have given or assigned this particular, I mean the features to chn.chn. So how do we know that this is assigned to chn.chn? So we can just go to options, or from featurings we can go here and we can see that this is assigned to chn.chn. Okay, and here we can see the status as well. So after maybe completion we can change the status. So this is all about the user creation and how do we assign roles, and how do we create an implementation, and how do we start with our basic configuration. Okay, so this is what we planned for today's demo. So maybe if you have any question, we can take this. Yeah, any questions?
No question, sir. This is an overview, right?
Yeah, yes, yes.
Overview for creations, roles.
Yeah. So this is very basic configuration. So we haven't started any sort of configuration. We just created a project in order to do any configuration. We will start with general ledger module.
Okay, so Arun, one question regarding this role which you have as like task which you have created.
Yeah,
So you have created more sub features like fixed assets and
yeah,
then revenue management. Many other things were there.
yes,
So if I select only financials, so you told that by default all the financial modules will be coming in place like AP module which is payables, invoicing, which is nothing but a feature,
yeah,
invoicing, payments, and then receivables, then receipts. All those will be by default attached to that primary function which is financial, so we don't have to select anything other than that if
yeah.
in case I wanted to go for a basic implementation.
No, you don't wanted to have this configuration, or I mean, I didn't get the
No,
question.
I wanted to have only the basic financial implementation, not the
Okay,
other implementation like fixed asset configuration or revenue management configuration. So if I
okay.
wanted to have a basic financial configuration, which means can we cover the 5 modules which we have in EBS R12 today, like AP, AR, GL, cash management, and
Yeah,
fixed assets?
yes, we can have that. So I mean, I think your question is that if I wanted to have only the 4 modules implemented instead of having all the modules as a
Yeah,
package from the financial application, so how do
yeah,
we do it? So for
yeah.
example, if you see here, I have revenue management. I don't wanted to use the revenue management, or I don't wanted to use this collection and all those things. So
Yeah.
simply I come here and I click remove.
Okay, okay,
So I will not be able to see any of these options.
okay, okay. So the main features are available in the define common application configuration for financials and define common financial configuration. These two.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is where we will define our general ledger module. So
Okay.
basically, by default, we will have to implement GL maybe,
Okay.
and apart from that, we have the sub modules, that is AP or AR. So this we will come and look at here. So if we don't want this kind of configuration, maybe we can go only with these 2 features.
Okay. 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 Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So our R12 concept of AGIS is replaced with the intercompany.
Yes,
Uh,
correct.
okay. Okay. Feature here. Okay. Fine.
Yeah. Any other question?
Application and module is replaced with offering and feature.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
No, we don't call application and modules. Basically, we call modules and then we say menus, submenus, and this kind of what you call the drill down. But
Ah,
here,
right.
modules has been taken as the financials, and then we have the what do you call the particular modules, and then we drill down this menus or submenus as in features. I mean
Features. Okay.
options.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Any other question?
So this one more question, Arun. So
Yes.
this one let's say if you are if you are going for a new implementation, as you said that this configurations will be automatically listed down. So you are saying that anyone who knows the application can without any checklist they can straight away do the configurations, or do in Artol we have to keep a checklist saying that first is a business group, then come to the legal entity, then come to the ledger, then operating unit. So here we don't have to maintain all those checklists. We can directly come into the application, assign this role, and start doing the implementation from this screen itself.
Yeah, we can do it. I mean, still we will have a few sequences followed here as well.
Okay,
So that we still have it here.
okay. So here it is not coming a sequence also.
Yeah, so similar to Artul, here too we have the sequences to be followed.
Okay.
Okay. Any other question?
No, Arun, that's it from my side.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. So any other question, maybe you can ping, or maybe if you have, you can ask now, or maybe we have group for it. You can post your questions there. So I'll get you answered.
Sure, Arun. Thank you.
Sure, Arun.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for
So when is
joining
the
this.
next session planned, Arun?
So actually this is planned like a weekly session. So how do you want to have is what we wanted to get. So maybe accordingly we can maybe work out.
Okay.
I mean, how did you ask the session? Like you wanted to have the weekly, or how is it?
I mean, we are okay with anything. If we are every day is also 1 hour is fine, so that we can complete the course as early as possible. Or weekly, if you're okay on weekly, then that is also fine for us.
Okay,
But
fine.
Suresh told me for on daily basis.
Yeah, that's what. I don't have any issue. Maybe only thing is I'll have to look the timings. Uh,
Okay. Yes, timing.
I'll do one thing. Maybe I'll speak with Suresh once about the timings. So if
Yeah.
everyone is okay with the daily session, maybe we can have the daily session so that we will cover daily 1 hour.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. We are
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, you just give us the timing so that we will also check and
yeah.
say.
Yeah, so I'll communicate about the timings to Suresh. So maybe he will update everyone.
Okay, Arun.
Yeah, yeah, fine. So I'll share this the course content in the group. So maybe you can have a look at it, and I'll share this recorded session as well in the group. So just keep me posted if you have any questions or any clarification is required. Okay.
Sure, Arun.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you. Thank you, Arun.